Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Tuesday. Tuesday is request day. Today's map was requested by the creator and it's
my first map.
That's right. You've probably already guessed that in advance, judging by the map down below. It's got some way to go, I'm afraid, and there's going to be no seal of approval today. I'll let you know that right away in advance. It's a chance to show a new creator just where they're going wrong and help them to iron out just a few of those very, very simple basic errors that we all once made. Yes, and I mean you as well. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. You can redeem yourself now, though. Yes, you can redeem yourself by, well, you know what to do. That's right, redeeming yourself really does help this channel to grow, gets me seen by more people, and I thank you very much for taking the time to do so. Today's map is Mill River by Buddy 1927. 1927? Are you really that old, Buddy? I don't believe so. Let's have a look at the start square. Start square looks okay. We got a little bit of river on the edge there. I guess that's the important thing. I guess. There's the terrain heights. All I can tell you is a very interesting looking river system. There, that's what I'm going to say about that. And then the resources look like this. And when you load the map up, you may notice a slight spelling error in the map list. Oops, that's a bit embarrassing. Off to the workshop. Mass transit is the required DLC. There's an intersection you don't need to subscribe to, of course, because it's already, well, it's just like loads of nodes and segments. We'll be looking at that soon. We'll be using the vanilla temperate theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT because that's what we're using today. Okay, let's start off with highway. Looks very straight. Yeah, okay, fine. No reasons for it to bend because there's no mountains. But we have got all these forests, and I'm thinking that might be trees underneath these highways here. See how the forest, it seems to have been painted over. Now, has it been cleared, or do we have trees? Yeah, we've got trees underneath the highways. So that's taking up some of the tree count, and if you're using Anarchy Always On, then those trees will basically appear through the highway when you load the map up. So yes, what you need to do is basically, there they are, they're still there. So yes, bulldozing the trees before you lay down the roads is a good way to go, or lay down the roads and then build the trees around them, and that's the way of doing it. Of course, I've got to say that it does look like, I mean, that may have been the case here. It may have been the case because it does look like the trees have been drawn out in somewhat of a hurry. So it might well be that the roads were down first and the trees were put down later. But let's go on to the next thing. There's a lot of things today. This intersection. Okay, ignore the rail for now. We'll do the rail in a minute. But 4 lanes into 2 is a little bit of a condense going on there. Could have done 4 lanes into 3, I would have suggested as a minimum. The up and over there is very steep. This is the vanilla wishbone. It's been plopped, and there's no reason for that top crossover to be that high. Using Move It or the in-game editors would enable you to fix that really easy. Of course, the one worry would be that clipping lamppost. So what we'll do is we'll just move this overpass this way a little bit so it avoids that lamppost that is underneath. So, I'm sorry, oops, hit the tab button there. So yeah, that's now been moved, which means we can now drop this down and that lamppost isn't going to clip, and it'll be a lot lower, a lot smoother. Of course, we could drop the highway underneath, the crossover as well underneath. But by doing that, and then we can then smooth this out quite easily, and it looks a lot better. Still a lot of work I personally would do to it, but that is just step 1. Okay, so we've now got a slightly better looking wishbone. 4 lanes into 4 there. Now that's nice. Lane merging has been incorporated into that. That's a good thing to see. So good to see that Buddy's picked up on that little thing there. But then we got Jinky Jankies. Right, Jinky Jankies are these could be smoothed out. Not quite corners, but traffic driving along there suddenly has to take a swerve to stay on the road. So yes, I would eliminate the node and segment leading up to it on each side and just put a little curve in there, and that would fix that really easily. Not going to do it on camera because just frankly this is going to be a long enough show anyway. I don't really need to be showing you how to build a curved road. Okay, through some more forest, which means there's probably more trees underneath there as well. And then down to the start square intersection again. This is plopped. Nothing wrong with plopping an intersection, of course, as long as you check it afterwards. And I don't think it's been checked either. But it's a nice intersection. It's a very nice intersection. Let's start off with this up ramp. Could be smoothed out a little bit, just a little bit. So if I choose both nodes and elevate it slightly, that's a little bit better, I think. Okay, we're going to do a little bit diving with the trucks. I think this next node could come down just a little bit as well. I'm going to do the same over here. So select those two. I'm going to drop that just a smidge, just to smooth out those ramps. And that already to me looks better. Of course, still a lot more work can be done to it, but that will do for now. 4 lanes and 3 and 3 lanes and 4 is all good, but we have got street lamps clipping badly, very, very badly. So plopped intersection that needs like the heights aligning. We've got encroaching foliage on both sides of the road as well. And the question is this donut proof? Oh, I don't know. I don't think it is. So yes, it's a very nice looking intersection, but it has issues. It definitely has its own issues. Let's come out of that first person perspective. Anyways, ignoring the rail again, we're going down into the start square now. Start square is a lot of build space over here on the start square, and we've got an amazing asset, an amazing one. Ready yourselves. It's the UK Village House number 12 by Rick 4000. Now, why am I oohing over this one quite as much? Well, it's an asset that is so good that it actually is going to eliminate the factoids today. Because I look at this, and this is my dream house, pretty much. I mean, short of having a mansion, this is my dream possible house. Now, these stone houses, they are notoriously damp and drafty. Certainly no less damp and drafty than the 300-year-old property that I live in currently. But yes, well, here's what I would do, you see. You'd live in that main area there. So that's your living room. There might be a bedroom at this end here, this end of the building, right about there. Bedroom, I would suggest. Kitchen and bathrooms are along there as well, and then this side building here, the old stables there, that's the games room. You've got a snooker table in there, dartboard, a pinball machine. That's your games room. Loving that idea. Then this little outcrop here, that's my YouTube studio right in there. That's where I'm going to be recording all the shows from. And so that's all great. That's all a nice little courtyard. And then over here, this is obviously where you park the Bentley. Now, obviously, you want to upgrade the roof from this rusty corrugated stuff on the top, which looks amazing, by the way, in the asset. But yeah, that for me is a dream house. UK Village House number 12 by Rick 4000. That is today's factoid. Because factoids. Hey, I love that. That's Rick, take a bow. Take a bow. You've impressed me. Okay, encroaching foliage on roads, not quite level bridges at each end, slightly too steep slopes again, but it could be a lot worse, but it is a little bit steep again there going down. More foliage on road as we're going along here, more gingy jangy, more jinky jankies going on there, jinky janky going back this way. Yeah, just need a slight, the slight smoothing of those corners. Just delete the segments leading up to each corner on each side, and then just build a curved segment in between. Look a lot better. Okay, the rail, encroaching foliage there, jinky janky here, more encroaching foliage here, a lot of encroaching foliage right there. Okay, the worst of it though is the height of the crossovers, right? The bridges and the crossovers. So we get down to the main river here. Now there is shipping down here, it does need to be elevated. We'll talk about the shipping, obviously, after the intermission. But it's very high, it's very awkward looking. There's no way that a train would make it up this ramp at all. So what I'm going to suggest is we're going to use the electrics, the slope tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to select, come on, get there in a minute. We're going to select all of the nodes until we can go down to about ground level. I reckon we need to go a little bit further before we can get down to ground level. Maybe a couple more. Oh, hang on a minute. And here's your start square intersection. So actually all of these should have been elevated. So I'm just going to select all of them. I'm going to elevate it all. Now obviously we would just want to upgrade this away from ground level to an elevated section. So yeah, that's bad BonBonB work, but it shouldn't have gone back down to ground from there. It could have been smoothed over a much longer distance, but it would have to smooth out after. And we've got encroaching foliage again, obviously trying to do an undo here, but the mod doesn't appear to have an undo certainly once you've clicked out of it, so it's going to stay elevated for the rest of the show. Sorry about that. So over here, yes, this is too steep coming down. This is where you would then have a long prolonged ramp coming down to bring it back down to ground level, and then jinky janky here and the jinky janky there. And then again, this should have stayed at ground level and the roads have gone over it. That would have worked a lot better because this is just ridiculously high, I'm afraid. Anyway, we'll take the intermission, we'll come back and we'll have a look at the shipping and the water flow. Look forward to that.
Are you confused with the difference between a mod and an asset? And what's the deal between a theme and a LUT? Then you need BonBonB's Beginner's Guide to Mods, Assets, Themes, and LUTs. Click the information button now.
And back to Mill River by Buddy 1927 and the shipping routes. Well, first of all, the shipping routes do go right down the middle of the river. That's a good thing. We've got no cross-country traffic. Always good. It comes down through this little lakey type area in the middle, which I think is probably the prettiest part of the map. And then down here through the bridges. Now the road bridge is too low. Crunch through everything there. And this pillar is going to be in the way of the shipping that's coming down this direction. And it'll just go crunching through there as well. My only real grumble, I guess, is in the map called Mill River. I'd like to see maybe a weir or something like that. That would indicate that that's where a mill should be going or once lived. Water flow. We are currently going downstream. The arrows are pointing with us at the moment, and we're going down towards the start square. Start square is on the left right now. We're just edging onto the start square, by the way. We've got good water flow going through the start square. That's good to see. It's not a one-star map. Then we've got this lake, which is the pretty area, and there's no water flow really going on here. As long as it pushes out the other side, that's what matters. Looks like a couple of drowned trees in there as well. And then, the water is now flowing into the lake from both directions. This is going to be a sewage trap, I'm afraid. The pretty area is going to be filled up with the stinky stuff pretty quickly. Now, I'll start off by having a look at the road layouts. Well, we know the start square is right here, so that's your main intersection. Everything's going to be coming to here, but everything's going to be driving through it as well, with the exception of the traffic on the right hand side going from point here to point there and back again. Every other bit of through traffic is going to be going right through the start square, which may cause some traffic issues. Now, trees. I've got to say, with the trees, they do look like they've been scribbled out. There's no time spent on these at all, is there? Lots of round dots, lots of scribbling like this, and no time just fading them. I've got to say, at least we've got some good tree coverage along the riverbanks. Time has been taken with that. That is a good thing and a credit, and basically means we're not going one star for detail. What we got though is, okay, let's do a little bit of tree work. Not much here going on here. First of all, we're going to need to choose a tree. Choose a vanilla tree, just a vanilla tree would be fine. A slightly bigger brush, slightly weaker strength, and if I just do a quick brush down there, add a bit of change of colour to the trees. Also thinning out some of those edges where we've obviously just seen the scribbling. So we've got a little bit of fade along the edges of those little areas there. That's just a little bit smoother, a little less harsh on the eye. And then if we then paint down just a few of the vanilla trees just for a change of colour in some of these areas as well, so that taking out a few, putting in a few, taking out a few, and then over there in the middle there putting in a few as well. It's not perfect, it's not a perfect fix, but it's already better. It is already better for hardly any work at all. There's a lot of work to be doing with the whole map though, and I'm not even going to think about it. Okay, the river banks are quite steep. quite steep, about 20 meters steep there. Another thing that you could do to improve upon this would be to get the smoothing tool out and just to ease off. I mean, look how deep it is as well, the river. It's got some big shipping going down it, so that's fair enough. But what we could do is we could just smooth out the banks a little and maybe smooth out the underwater section just a little bit as well. So visually it's just slightly more appealing. I'm only going to do this little section here, no further. The water will need time to settle as well, but already rather than this sharp, harsh drop there, we've just got a slightly more, it's slightly easier on the eye. Slightly easier on the eye. Anyway, that's just one little thing that could be done with the rivers. What haven't we done? I mean, we've looked at pretty much everything, haven't we? I mean, we've got patchy resources here and there. Down here, yeah, I'm gonna say we've got some drowned trees in here. I think so. Do you know what? I think we'll just get on do some ratings. What did you think of the map anyway? Was it a 1-star map? Was it a 5-star map? Was it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. Blah de blah de blah. Aesthetically, it's got an interesting looking river. I'm giving it 2 stars. Detailing. It's got trees along the river's edge. That's about the best I can say for that. I'm going to give it 2 stars for detail. As for gameplay potential, there is water flow going through the start square. It's connected up. It does work. Is it appealing? Does it require playing? Is there a lot of work that needs doing to it? No, and yes. So I'm going to give it 2 stars for gameplay. It is playable, but my goodness, a lot of work needs doing, buddy. Keep practicing, keep playing, keep enjoying the game, and do share with us when you've got a map that you think is really worth looking at. Mill River by Buddy1927. Thank you, Buddy. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for being brave enough to share, because I know a few people watch this show only really want to see the really very best maps. And not every map is a best map. It's not possible. For every best map, there's not a best map. So well done. Well done for balancing out the averages. Thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing, for joining me for another map in the What's Map series. I've been another map along tomorrow. Old map on the screen now if you want to go and watch that. And of course, Flowscape from last night to win a copy of Flowscape. Go on, you know you want to.